Welcome back, legends. I hope you're all fantastic. Today we're taking a look at the Boogie Formula preamp. Shout out to my buddy Ren for loaning me his Formula preamp. This is one that's eluded me for a long time. You probably all know how much I love Boogie stuff. I've got a Mark IV and a Recto and a bunch of their rack preamps and power amps, but I've never tried a Formula. So I just kind of want to see where this fits into the overall Boogie scheme. We're going to start out on the clean channel. You have a row of controls here for the clean channel, including a pull boost, very Mark series of them right there. You have the 5-band EQ. There is a second row of controls for the lead 1 and lead 2 channels, although the lead 2 gain and master are over here. It's kind of like on the Mark IV where there's like controls everywhere. There's no MIDI or kind of any really super advanced switching on this. Reading the kind of literature that came out with it at the time, Boogie kind of sold this as, you know, a recording preamp. So you put in your studio rack and you dial in a tone and then you cut some tracks with it and then you dial in another tone, although it was spotted in John Petrucci's rack for a little while, so we will hear it with the JP7. But we just kind of get started on the clean channel. The pull boost is not engaged. Everything's basically at noon and the EQ is off. The rest of the signal chain is in the video description. Let's go. Now that's the neck pickup of my Strat, and that is pretty bright. So I would probably just pull a little bit of treble out, boost a little bass, maybe a little bit of mid-range, and add a bit of gain. Then we get this. We're getting into that kind of edge of breakup territory. Let's really go there. I'll bring the gain up even more. That's kind of nice. This is the immediate moment where I want to kick that EQ in and just kind of tweak a few things. So let's kick the EQ in on this channel. I'm going to pull out a bit of 240 and a boost a bit of 2200 is what we get. That's a pretty nice crunch tone. I want to revisit that clean sound with some post effects, but we'll come back around to that. I'm just going to drop the output because I'm going to use the pull boost now. Let's check that out. That is an awesome lower gain bluesy boogie thing right there. If you see the difference between that with and without the EQ on the neck pickup. Pretty subtle right there with the EQ. It's starting to get just a tiny little bit noisy on here. So that's kind of what it's doing with the clean stuff. Maybe let's pull that boost out. I'll go to the neck and middle combination on there, and we'll just kind of keep rolling with this EQ setting. I'm going to add some effects in post. So I may not look impressed, but it may sound kind of super awesome while we're doing this. here's lead 1. You can see basically everything at noon on there except for the gain. This is what it sounds like. Let's bring the gain up. I kicked the EQ in about halfway through there. Might just kind of use the EQ, the graphic EQ, of course, to do some extra sculpting. That's kind of interesting. It doesn't sound totally Mark series to me in there. It's definitely got its own thing going on, which I think is cool. I just expected this would probably just kind of sound like a FormulaPre or something like that. But to my ears, anyway, and I have a FormulaPre and a Triaxis and a Mark IV, that's got a slightly different kind of structure going on there. Let's go over to lead 2. I'll leave the EQ in. Do I have that? Awesome. Let's just have a listen to lead 2. I'll kind of play around with the gain control. Might start with it a bit lower. That's kind of an interesting, like really slinky, skinny sort of distorted sound. Let's bring the gain up and see what we get. Hopefully you heard those last 2 clips with a bunch of grease. More than likely, Soundtoys Echo Boy and or the Microshift plugin. I absolutely love those plugins. I've got the JP7 plugged in at the moment. This is the dry lead sound. So kind of a little bit honky sounding. It doesn't really have that ultra smooth, Mark II C+, Mark IV thing going on there. But let's just see how kind of chunky we can make this. So kind of giving it the V-shape thing, and then I'm just pulling out bass and some mid-range from the EQ here. And where do I have the gain? I'll bring the gain down just a little bit. Let's try it on the 7 string. So yeah, that doesn't wow me, I will be honest. It kind of doesn't really sound like it's set up to be a super tight, saturated drop tune thing. But let's go back to the clean channel, the middle pickup on this guitar. Let's just have a listen to the clean tone with the EQ out, and then I'll bring it back in. This is really nice and sparkly. Really, really nice and sparkly there. I think the cleans kind of steal the show here. I like the lower gain crunch tones. I think the higher gain sounds are okay. They're not bad by any measure. It's just that, you know, when we talk about high gain Boogie sounds, we're always going to compare it to stuff like the Mark series and the Tri-Axis. And if I was recommending a preamp for those type of tones, I would just say, hey, get a Mark series or a Tri-Axis rather than the Formula preamp. But for the cleans, especially that kind of bluesy thing I had going on with the Strat, it's pretty awesome. I can totally understand why somebody who loves Boogies would want to grab one of these. I'm kind of tempted to grab it myself, but I think I'm going to let this one go. Anyway, let me know what you all thought of the Formula preamp in the comment section below. Again, thank you to Ren for lending me this preamp to do this video. Absolute legend and champion. You're all a bunch of legends and champions as well. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you all next time. I'll play you all out with some more of this sparkly clean with some more of the Soundtoys post effects. Have a good day.